Hello, everyone. It's time for another episode of
Bible Battles.
Pain.
Pain?
Yeah, just wait till the second round.
It may be tough in the second round today. Hey, it is 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. We hope that you had a wonderful holiday season and a safe one. And we're looking forward to 2021. We don't know what's going to be like, but we're really thinking it's going to be better than 2020
The
was.
opposite of 2020.
We're hopeful. But hey, in 2020, we started doing these. We started with Music Madness, and now we're making our way through our favorite books of the Bible, talking about which ones we like and why we like them, and which ones we struggle with. And so we've been doing this tournament style with Bible books going head to head, and we're almost through the first round, and it's been exciting, and we've got some excellent books to talk about today. How's everybody doing?
I'm good. I'm ready.
I won't be good probably by the end of this, but
You think it's going to be tough?
it's going to be tough.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much agreement there is or how much battling there is today. We have some exciting books to talk about today. And our first battle is going to be New Testament versus Old Testament. We have the book of Matthew, one of the Gospels, one of the stories of Jesus, and a beloved book by many. And Matthew is going up against a book from the Old Testament. We have Nehemiah, a book that maybe folks don't know as much, but it is one of the story books of them coming back from exile, of course being sent to exile in Babylon, and then coming back from Persia because Persia defeated Babylon. And so that's the story of Jerusalem being rebuilt and getting put back in order, and realizing it's not as easy as they thought coming back from exile and getting things started again. So those are the two books that we have in our first battle today. What's everybody thinking about Matthew versus Nehemiah? Or do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
You can go? All right.
I think Nehemiah is a good book, like with being pretty much freed from exile. They get to come back and they get to work, which is something I don't really like doing, is working. And like,
Really?
I wonder where you're
You're
doing.
surprising me now.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean it's a cool story, but compared to Matthew, and it's a gospel, and you're gonna be mad at me if I don't pick a gospel.
There's 4 Gospels, though, in the end.
Yeah, but I've
There's
kicked out
not
about like
4
2 of them.
Nehemiahs.
Yep, but still, I think it's covers enough new stuff where it's worth keeping in just a little bit longer. So I'm gonna go with Matthew.
All right. You want me to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Matthew. It's one of the first Gospels I read as, as a child. When you start to try to read the Bible through, you start with Matthew. And so I've probably read Matthew probably more than anything else. But I really like Matthew. I like the genealogy is really hard to get through until you realize how important it is. So I'm going with Matthew.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts on Nehemiah, or just?
Yeah, as I read these, I like the minor prophets less and less.
Well, that's not a minor prophet.
Well,
it's
the
more
prophets,
of a story one.
but yeah, Nehemiah.
It's a tough book. Nehemiah
Yes.
is tough.
All of those are tough.
Even though the theme in the Bible, one of the themes is the story of exile, how all of humanity is sent off into exile after sin, and so that's a very powerful theme. And here they are coming back, but it's really a tough story because they come back and it's about human effort after returning to rebuild the temple and to rebuild the wall, and it just goes to show again, emphasizing that human effort always falls short. And then here it does again, and they get the temple rebuilt, but it's some harsh things happening, and each kind of end of the story is kind of leaves you flat, and so it leaves you thinking, we need something more than this. Just coming back from exile wasn't enough. Human effort's not enough. We need something more, and that something more is found in Matthew. The Messiah who comes, Jesus who comes. Matthew's an amazing book. It's got the theme of God with us in there. Of course, that's where Jesus is called Emmanuel in the birth story. And so I love Matthew. It's one of my favorite Gospels. I don't know how it'll do if it comes head to head against others. But I love the Gospel of Matthew just for everything that's included in there. You've got the Sermon on the Mount in the Gospel of Matthew. The Lord's Prayer is in there. a strong focus on prophecy, almost more so, definitely more so than the other Gospels. Matthew wants you to realize that this story and Jesus is about a fulfillment of the Old Testament prophets and what has been predicted. And so he emphasizes that even more than the others. So I'll agree with that. We got to send Matthew into the next round. Defeating Nehemiah, we're going 3-0 here on this one. Matthew is victorious. Now we go to our next battle for today, and it is 2 Old Testament books. One that I think is very well known to a lot of Bible readers, and the other one may be a little tough to remember what's happening in that story. We have Habakkuk, one of the minor prophets, that's going up against Esther, one of the stories about life in exile while they're there in Persia to become. So we have Habakkuk going up against the book of Esther. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll go
You're
first.
Excited about this one? Go ahead.
I have to go with Esther.
You do?
I do.
Now, you're always talking about how much you love Habakkuk.
Right.
You read it every day.
Yeah. But
Morning routine, just wake up, pull out the Bible, bookmark in Habakkuk, and read it
that's
through.
right. Read it every day, the whole way through. All 3 books. It is a short book.
3 chapters.
It is a short book.
Yes.
I really like Habakkuk.
Mm-hmm.
The second to last chapter is it? How many chapters is it?
There's
3
3.
or 4.
There's 3.
So maybe it's this section, but it's in chapter 3, and it talks about his prayer, the prophet prayer, and I feel like that is very applicable to today.
Yeah.
And I think that should be everybody's prayer for today. But I can't throw Esther out. It's one of my favorite books in the Bible. And
Figured it might be.
yeah. And I just, she is such a role model or person that you would want to be, somebody who can stand up like that. But it doesn't show her as a strong personality either, who just knows everything or knows what to do.
It's not a perfect character.
Right. And I like that because she's relatable. But she relies on her family members for counsel. And she relies on her relationship and does the right thing because she is who she is. And I like that. It's you strive to be like her.
Yeah, but struggles with doing the right thing.
Right.
It's not an easy thing for her to do.
Yeah.
Very human character.
Yes, very human. And so that's why I like Esther.
All right. Ethan, you want me to go next?
Yeah, you can't not go with Esther.
You're going with Esther, all right.
Yeah, I mean, most of these Bible books are getting a boosted advantage because of me, if they have a VeggieTales made after them. Because most of these it just gets ingrained in your head about how cool the stories are, and yeah, Esther was one of those for me that I just enjoyed a lot more.
Yeah, I don't think they've done a VeggieTales of Habakkuk yet.
I don't think
so.
so.
Maybe they should.
They should.
Maybe they should.
Habakkuk is a very interesting book. Kind of a tough read, but what's fascinating about it is it's the prophet calling out to God and questioning God, saying, God, what are you doing? The world's a mess. There's bad stuff happening here in among God's people. What are you doing? And God's okay with it. It's not like he lightning bolts Habakkuk for asking that question.
Shame on you.
God actually answers and says, well, yes, things are a mess. I'm going to take care of it. I'm sending Babylon to come and you're going to go into exile and stuff. And that answer bothers the prophet too. He's like, what are you talking about? Babylon, they're worse than the problem. And so there's more questioning that happens. But again, God takes the questions and says that's true. And eventually Babylon is going to fall. And at the end of the story, Habakkuk does pray, and he realizes that he can trust God, that help is coming. And you have the very famous line in Habakkuk that is again repeated in the New Testament: the just shall live by faith. Which means we're going to live not knowing all the answers, not knowing exactly how the future is going to pan out, but the just will live by faith and trust in God, which is certainly something that we need, not just in Bible times, but in our day too. So that's an excellent book, but I'm going to also go with Esther. Fabulous book, unique book. Only book in the Bible that does not mention God by name, which has caused a lot of scholars to be vexed over should this be included in here. There's a lot of weird things happening going on. There's a beauty pageant. There's kicking the queen out. And the characters have some moral faults along the way. Even the good guys do. But it's such a famous book, and it's a book that causes us to look for God behind the scenes. God looking and acting in the coincidences in life. And there's so many of those that happen in this book. Many ironic reversals that happen where you think it's going to go this way and then whoosh, comes this way. Like, it's a Bible book full of curveballs. And as a baseball fan, I love that.
It sounds like 2020.
Yes, a lot of curveballs. So Esther is an amazing book. I'm going to vote for Esther as well. So we have 2 battles that end out 3-0. And now the easiness of the first round gets very hard in the second round
I think this might be the hardest one we've had.
This
Well,
one could
I
come down to
I
battles.
almost didn't vote for Esther just so I wouldn't have to go up against, no, the other way. I almost didn't.
You didn't vote for Matthew.
Yeah, just so I wouldn't have to come down to this.
Here we are, second round, no time to rest. And this is where battles could actually happen.
Maybe we should just throw Esther out since it's so high up
Of
there.
course.
Not again.
Here it comes. Always, always. So here we have Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, the story of Jesus going up against the fabulous Old Testament book of Esther. Let the battling begin. Want me to go first on this one?
How?
I'll go first this time. I love Esther. I took a class, a master's class that was focused just on Esther, and so studied it immensely, wrote a paper on it.
That probably ruined it for you.
No, it helped me enjoy it even more. I do a sermon series on it, so there's so much going on in there. I love it, but I can't not pick the gospel, one of my favorite gospels. Maybe, I don't know if it's my favorite. We'll find out. I hope. But I'm going to go with Matthew. It's got so much. It's got the story there at the end of the resurrection. It's amazing to see women uplifted in this. You have
Like
women
Esther.
mentioned in... You do, yeah, but I'm saying that because women aren't forgotten in Matthew. You have women mentioned in Jesus' genealogy. You have women at the tomb going there to find the greatest news ever and told to go and tell others the greatest news ever. And then you have the Gospel Commission. Matthew ends very famously in Matthew 28 with being told to go everywhere and make disciples of all nations. And then the wonderful promise from Jesus that he is with us always. There's that theme of Matthew, God with us, and that's how it ends. So I'm going to go with Matthew, and we'll see what happens. What are you guys going to do? Let's have Jeanette go first. 'Cause
I don't know.
You don't know?
I still don't
Or
know.
go second?
You go ahead. What's your rebuttal?
Dang it. I think we should play like that 3,000 years later.
Still thinking. ... a little circle thing going.
Uh-huh.
like a question mark
Loading.
above my head.
Loading.
It'd be like one of those things that never stops loading. I'm gonna go with Esther.
Whoa, he's picking Esther, huh?
How come? Because I know why we should pick Matthew. Why should we pick Esther? Because I am really totally convinced me.
Because you want to throw it out.
No.
It's hard to explain my reasoning, but it's just such a unique book in the Bible. Like, yes, Matthew's good, but it also has... It feels like there could be 4 other Matthews with all the Gospels.
No.
By itself,
Yeah, I
though,
know.
that's where because that was my original rationale was, well, we could just throw Matthew out because there's 4 Gospels.
They're all
But they,
different.
they're
I
all
know, but
different and
Matthew is
important.
one of my favorite Gospels.
It probably
so,
is one of my favorite Gospels too, besides like maybe John. But like
Lord's Prayer.
I know
Isn't it?
the Sermon on the Mount.
Sermon on the
I
Mount.
really connected with that when we went to the Mount.
Yes.
it just even though it is a woman, it is relatable.
It is. It is so relatable, and it is so different. And so I think,
Esther's a great story, but it's the story of Jesus. And it'll be exciting to see
but
Matthew
it's
go
the
up and up
story of
against...
someone who struggles to follow Jesus, like me. That inner struggle of doing what you should do versus what is the easy thing to do. I'm going with Esther.
Oh my goodness. Folks, look what they've done. They've dropped Matthew,
Which one was worse?
self-proclaimed favorite gospel, and she kicks it out in round 2. I feel so bad for Matthew.
Which one was worse, the Titus Deuteronomy or...
Oh no! I mean, that was the Torah. This is the gospel. This is the story of Jesus that you two have shamefully rejected today.
There's not many books in the Old Testament where I'm like, this, I really enjoy reading this. I love it. And it's a VeggieTale movie. You know,
I'm
I
sure
agree.
they do something on
No, they
the
don't.
story of Jesus.
No, they don't. Mm-mm. Have you ever
They
seen
do.
the movie of Jesus?
It's not the movie, but like they do an Easter thing about the resurrection, all about Jesus.
Totally.
So they have dropped one of the Gospels.
It was
Folks,
hard.
I know you probably won't want to push the like button this time. There's no dislike button. But put your comments in there. Let us know. Hate mail can be sent to either of these two. But no, I love the book of Esther as well, and I look forward to talking about it more. But I still can't believe this travesty
pretty
of justice that is
I might
happening
be
here
sleeping on the couch
today.
tonight.
This is,
I volunteer myself to
this
sleep.
is tragic. I think the
You have your own room.
elders of the church will probably be at our doorstep knocking, letting us know that there needs to be some
issues.
counseling happening
Wait till after I take my nap.
in the half-go home. So, all right, that takes us through our episode today. What are we going to talk about next time? We have our last battles of the first and second round.
Wow.
We have made it through after this.
That was quick.
So yeah, we're getting right to
How
it.
many months in are we?
We've had several to get through. There's a lot of books in the Bible. So
Yes.
next time, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Ezekiel, which is a very unique prophetic book from the Old Testament. Some strange visions happening in there. And so that'll be fun to talk about. And it's going up against Song of Solomon. Perhaps the most unique book in the Bible, and one of the ones that many people just kind of shy away from. We're not going to do that. We're going to talk about it and why it was included in the canon and why it has meaning for us today.
Are we going to play charades?
Please don't.
I don't think we'll be acting out,
I'm pretty sure
The
this
Song
video
of
will be getting
Solomon.
taken down immediately.
but we will talk about the beauty of the woman in that she looks like an ivory tower and that her teeth are like sheep and different things like that. It's a very, very unique book. We'll talk about that. And then our last battle of the first round is Jeremiah, a wonderful book from the Old Testament, going up against Romans, which is a pinnacle book of the New Testament. So those will be some fun books to read through, to study this week, and to talk about next time. So we hope that you will join us. We hope that you'll share this with others, and talk about your books of the Bible that your favorites, the ones you like. Which ones would have you chosen if you had to have Matthew go up against Esther? What would you have picked? Let us know. But thank you again for watching. We enjoy doing this, and we hope that you enjoy watching it. And we'll see you again next time. Until then, enjoy 2021 and stay safe. And God bless.